What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host, Vernon. This is the end of Maine. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, I've made my way to the end of Maine. That is where the Netley Creek meets up with the Red River. Now, the little boat launch here, that is known as the end of Maine, and I was quite confused about that. But the little street running through Selkirk, that is Main Street, that actually ends right here by the boat launch, and that is why it's called the end of Maine. Now, this is a rather popular spot for fishing, and if you're here in spring or early summer, I would suggest going near the Netley Creek. There is actually a flat shelf on this side, but it is late summer at the moment, so I'm thinking of going in the Red River side itself. There is a section of the Red River that's a bit deeper. We have a flat shelf on this side, and it drops off into a bit deeper hole. I'm going to try to go to the deeper holes. Now, in this section of the river, there's a couple more turns and it goes into Lake Winnipeg, so we're close to the lake. Alright, so a few kilometers or miles down the road, there is another little lake called Goldeye Lake. There are some more fishing spots around there, but being weekend, it is rather packed. Lots of people around, but I did manage to find a little spot where we can do some fishing. And I'm simply just going to get some baits out there using a normal pickerel rig, putting on a little bait fish and some night crawlers. Just going to cast that out there. We wait for some fish to find it. Alright, so we got our baits out there. Now, this is the part I was talking about. That's where the little creek runs in, and you have flat space running into deeper water, and then from this side on that way you have some more deeper water, but lots of vegetation on this side, so you need to find some open spaces to get your baits out into the water. Now, there's quite a lot of small drum in this area, so you need to get your baits out further into the deeper water to try and find something a bit different, but even some baby drum would be fine. Let's hope we get some. We'll just leave the baits out there and wait for some action. Alright, we have a fish on. Time to place your baits. What do you think the first fish will be? Little drum, walleye, maybe a catfish. Doesn't feel that big, but on this rod, nothing feels really big. There we are, first little fish, tiny little drum. I am supposed to wet the little carp mat, so we won't keep him too long on the mat. First little fish landed, tiny drum. Let's get him back to the water. Good strong kick, and he's off. Getting some hits. But we want that thing to pull over. A bunch of hits like that means they're picking at the baits. They don't necessarily have the hook yet. So we wait for that thing to pull completely over. Now, if I was using normal hooks, I would actually try and set the hook to see if we can get that fish. But we're using circle hooks. You don't set the hook on a circle hook. The fish hooks himself with the circle hook. Alright, so I just rebaited and we're instantly getting hits. Seems like the little night crawlers are a go-to, but like I said, unless that thing is bending over, we know we don't have the fish hooked. I'm using somewhat bigger hooks, hoping for some better fish, but maybe we need to swap out to a smaller hook if we're constantly going to get small hits like that. There we go, fish on. Now for a proof of concept, I put the worms on the smaller top hook. Let's see what we got and for which hook it went. This is actually a bullhead catfish. And a nice big sized one at that. Nice lively, big chunky bullhead. Want to get some measurements on this guy because I think this might be the new PB. Bullhead don't grow that big. This is a nice hefty one. So this is 27 centimeter bullhead. That is 11.5 inches. So that is a 1 pound, 0.45 kilogram bullhead. Alright, unexpected catch. Let's get him back. And off he goes. Tiny little bullhead on the night crawler as well. Alright, just had something go for our baits. It's not been out there for long. But this fish swam towards us rather quickly. Only now figuring out he's hooked. Just want to wet the carp mat. And our second little drum landed. Seems like it going for the smaller hook. That's the key. Had this little drum hooked nice in the corner of the mouth. So let's get him back to the water. Another little drum landed. Bit of a fall, but he's okay. He's swimming off. It's rather slimy, covered in slime. So when he started wriggling, couldn't keep a hold of him, and I dropped him into the water. Alright guys, a bit of an update. I stopped using the little night crawlers out there. Lots of bullhead catfish in this spot going for my baits. And ever since I stopped using the little night crawlers, completely stopped getting any hits. I think it is also a time of day thing. I think the fish are moving in a bit deeper, but also not being able to use the night crawlers. I think it's not drawing in the fish. But the little spot right next to me, that has opened up. So I'm thinking I'm going to move that way, get a bit closer to the deeper waters, cast out that way. Alright, new spot, new baits. Already getting a couple of hits, like there's a small little bullhead nibbling on our baits. Little bullhead catfish surfing on top of the water. Now this guy was nice enough to leave our little worm for us. But another little bullhead. This one has some spots on him, almost like it's a brown bullhead, another black one. Don't really know how to tell the difference between the two. I think this mottled look means this is a brown. But let's get him back to the water. And off he goes. We have something on again. Feels small, so maybe another bullhead. No, it's not a bullhead. It's another baby drum. No, it is a bullhead. It's just the way that he was swimming looked different. Again, with the different colors, patterns on this one. I think this is a brown bullhead. Both brown and black can be yellow, but it's these little mottled spots on him that make me think that this is a brown bullhead. I'm gonna let him keep our little worm there. We don't need that worm. And off he goes. Still has a little worm. Just saw him swim off with it. Alright, but the big problem I'm having is our bait fish keep getting stolen, and the night crawlers, we keep getting bullhead catfish on that. So I think I'm not going to use any more night crawlers. We'll try out some different baits. Alright, so random bait combo 1 is going to be some strawberry flavored catfish and carp bait, as well as a live frog. I'm going to live line a little frog out there. We'll see if something goes for that. Now please note I'm hooking him through his nose. That way we can release him if nothing goes for him. If you're wondering where I'm getting the frogs from, lovely looking frogs. They're pretty much all over. I've been seeing quite a lot of people catching them. Don't know what people use them for. That's why I want to try and live line one, see if that works. Alright guys, it's only been a few minutes and I'm already bringing in the little frog. I feel it's not nice to torture him like that, having him underwater for no good reason. So I'm just going to let him go. Now, he's been in the water, so he's quite tired. I'm just going to leave him there. He'll make his way off. Now, the reason is, I don't know how to use frogs as bait. So if you do know, please go down in the comments and tell me. But I think I'm rather going to put on something different, get that out there. And I'm opting to go for some garlic chicken. There should be some catfish in here as well. So I'm rather going to go for garlic chicken. We see if we get some catfish with our little catfish and carp bait up there, because that thing needs to be in the water for a long while. So this combo is something that I feel we can get out there and leave in the water for roughly an hour. Whereas I think little frog, he's not going to be too happy in the water for too long. So let's rather get this out there. Alright, ladies and gents, it's now been an hour and our baits have been soaking out there. Now the thing is, I'm seeing quite a lot of big fish jumping all over, and the guys out on the boats and the kayaks, they're constantly getting fish. So I'm thinking the problem is being midday at the moment. The fish move out into deeper water. I'm just not able to reach that depth. So rather than waiting around here forever, waiting for the sun to get lower again, I think I'm gonna just rebait one more time, go for the night crawler special again, get that out there, see if we get one last fish. So let's get that baited. Alright, so this one was way out there. We did get a hit, but I'm not feeling anything. Or if there is something, it's very small. And once again, we get a baby drum. This was probably the deepest cast that I made all day. Lovely colors on this little drum. Let's get him back to the water. And off he goes. Tiny little guy, way in deep. Alright, ladies and gents, not a bad day here at End of Main. Yes, we didn't get anything crazy, but constant action, lots of small fish. Now I have to say, I have seen some of the guys out on the boats catching a lot bigger fish, so I think if you're here early in the mornings or late in the afternoons, even into the evening, you might get on some better fish when they move back up shallow to start feeding. But by playing around with some of the baits, we did manage to get fish out there throughout the entire day. And I'm going to ask that for that, you do give me a little thumbs up. Feel free to ask any questions down below in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting subscribe, joining my community. I do weekly videos. Alright, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tagging along. Like always, I'll see you next time.